Hello everyone. Good afternoon to you all, or good morning, or good evening, wherever you are. How are you? I hope everyone is doing well. Okay, sa mga Pilipino, saan man kayong lupalop sa mundo, kamusta? Magandang hapon, magandang gabi, or magandang umaga sa inyong lahat. Sana ay nasa mabuti kayong kalagayan, okay? To everyone listening and watching, be safe and stay healthy as always. All right, and for our video this afternoon, today is February 27, 2024, Tuesday, and as the title says, Naoya Inoue versus Luis Nery is set on May 6, 2024, in Tokyo Dome, Japan, and has been approved, okay, by the Japan Boxing Commission. Congratulations. All right. So for the starters, we all know that Luis Pantera Neri, the Mexican warrior, the pride of Mexico, Luis Nery, was or has been suspended indefinitely by the Japan Boxing Commission years back due to his violations. Okay, he failed. The first violations he did was when he was tested positive on illegal substance, okay, for performance enhancement or just illegal substance on his body. Okay, he was tested positive. And then the second violations that Luis Nery did was when he was overweight. Okay, overweight, and he did not attempt to lose that weight for the competition. The same opponent, okay, the Japanese warrior, Luis Nery, knocked out that Japanese warrior twice. Okay, so with that being said, of course, the Japanese people, the Japanese boxing fans would like to avenge their Japan hero, okay? The one that got knocked out by Luis Nery. Now, because of that, the Japan Boxing Commission lifted the suspension against Luis Pantera Neri of Mexico, and they are set to fight against, of course, Naoya Inoue on May 6th, 2 days after the Canelo Alvarez, the supposed Cinco de Mayo weekend fight of Canelo Alvarez, the pride of Mexican. Okay, so we are going to read this one verbatim. All right, and okay, let's get it on. So, the boxing world is buzzing with anticipation. The Japan Boxing Commission made a significant announcement revealing that they had lifted the suspension on Mexican boxer Luis Nery with a record of 35 wins, 1 loss, 27 by knockouts license. The only loss of Luis Nery was against Brandon Figueroa. Okay. This decision clears the path for Nery to face off against the monster from Japan, Naoya Inoue, with a record of 26 wins, 23 by knockouts, 21 wins, world title fights, and 19 of those are via knockouts. And Naoya Inoue has the highest knockout ratio in world title fights in boxing history, right? With all 4 undisputed belts on the line. So they will be fighting for the undisputed WBA, WBC, WBO, IBF, and the ring, the lineal 122 pounds title, alright? Nery had faced suspension due to his failure to meet the weight requirement by a considerable margin in his rematch with former champion Shinsuke Yamanaka. So, Shinsuke Yamanaka was the Japanese hero considered by the Japanese boxing enthusiasts, and Luis Pantera Nery knocks him out twice. But even with that tested positive with illegal substance and with that overweight on their second fight, all right? Back in March 2018, in Japan, adherence to contractual weight limits, especially in world title matches, is rigorously enforced and violations are met with severe penalties. We all know that in Japan, people in Japan, the Japanese people are so disciplined, even when it comes to sports. In combat sports like boxing, the regulatory commission or the regulatory institution, which is the Japan Boxing Commission, they implemented their law or the rules or the policy very strictly. Okay, so all fighters, boxers must adhere, okay, must follow or must obey the rules and regulations, uh, position or on hand, okay, given, okay, to all the fighters boxing if you are fighting in Japan. Okay. So the Luis Nery suspension was lifted as announced yesterday, Monday. Previously suspended by the Japanese Boxing Commission for a weight-related offense in 2018, Nery has been reinstated, opening the door for a clash with Inoue. The WBC has already named Nery as the mandatory challenger for Inoue's undisputed super bantamweight title. And of course, yes, Luis Pantera Nery of Mexico is the number one mandatory of all the four major belts. Luis Nery is the most top runner to fight against Naoya Inoue. Second is Murodjon Akhmadaliev for being the number one mandatory in the WBA, World Boxing Association. Now the third one, mandatory, is Sam Goodman of Australia, of which he is the number one WBO and IBF mandatory against Naoya Inoue. But by rankings, the WBC, World Boxing Council, is for the past like 10 months or less, I would say 8 months, Luis Pantera Nery is the most highest ranking to fight Naoya Inoue. And the good thing is the Japan Boxing Commission already lifted that ban, that indefinite suspension against Nery. So they got a green signal, a go signal from the commission, and the announcement will be after if and when Canelo Alvarez is going to announce. I would say Canelo Alvarez should be announcing already his fight this coming Saturday after the top rank double header fight, or maybe Monday, March 4. That would be 30 day ups, 60 days rather, 60 days window for the May 4th, supposedly Canelo Alvarez, let's say Canelo versus Munguia or Canelo versus Berlanga. So after that, one day after or maybe hours after that announcement, the official announcement of Inoue versus Nery, there is a reason why these promoters and sponsors doesn't want to overtake when it comes to announcing the fight due to advertisements. As we all know, there will be a big fight, but not so big. A little big, there you go. For top rank this coming Saturday night. double header at 126 pounds title fights, double header, all 126 featherweights, and that will be the future of Naoya Inoue because Top Rank is where Naoya Inoue is close affiliated. Okay, so those are the future fights of Naoya Inoue this coming Saturday, March 2. Okay, the double header of Top Rank boxing fights. Let's continue. Uh, the stricter measures in place. Okay, this will be for the VADA. It's not USADA. So VADA, Volunteers Anti-Doping Agency. VADA is much better compared to USADA, USADA, the United States Anti-Doping Agency, which Floyd Mayweather Jr. was attached. If you are going to search it in Google or YouTube, USADA is worst. Okay? The United States Anti-Doping Agency is worse comparing to VADA, which is Volunteers Anti-Doping Agency. Alright? So it says, to ensure Nery adheres to weight requirements, the WBC is implementing stricter protocols. Nery, Armstrong, Luis Nery will face mandatory weight checks. Okay? He will be checked his weight, Luis Nery, at specific intervals before the fight. And unannounced inspections. Okay? Unannounced inspections by VADA, Volunteers Anti-Doping Agency, Anti-Doping Association, are also on the table. So, Luis Nery will be subjected with the blood and urine, all right, a random blood and urine testing, be it nighttime or daytime, before training or after training. So Luis Nery will be observing or following that protocol, all right. So that's the caveat when you are fighting a pound for pound king or a pound for pound champion, Naoya Inoue. And of course, the venue is Japan. Okay? Now, for the announcement, with the major hurdle removed, so that ban, the lifetime or indefinite suspension against Nery is already lifted, already done, clear. The anticipation is high for an official announcement of this highly anticipated super fight. Yes, it is a super fight. Aside from, I would say, aside from the fight of Canelo Alvarez, hopefully, Canelo will be announcing his fight this coming Saturday, right after the fight of the top rank double header. He can make that announced via Instagram or his what's the next of Twitter, the X, you know, the one that replaced Twitter, announced that he will be fighting Berlanga or Munguia this coming May 4th. So Inoue and Nery will be announcing the officially this coming Monday, March the 4th. All right? Awesome. Ho. And what else? The fight in Tokyo Dome will be the first event for Naoya Inoue fighting inside on a baseball stadium. And that stadium would accommodate more than 50,000 people. Okay, 50,000 people. So I'm hoping it will be like the audience, the viewers, like when Pacquiao fought Joshua Clottey in Dallas Cowboy Stadium. You know, that the gate attendance were 51,992, if I'm not mistaken. Almost 52,000 people. You know, the gate receipts, the gate attendance on Pacquiao versus Clottey in Dallas Cowboy Stadium in Arlington, Texas. that was held on March of 2010. So hopefully this coming May 6 for Inoue versus Nery, it will be 50,000 people also will buy tickets, watch the fight live inside the stadium. And also for his September fight, the Australian promoter already wanted, willing to make an offer for Naoya to travel from Japan to Australia to fight Sam Goodman, of which he is the number one mandatory for the WBO and IBF, Sam Goodman of Australia. But I have already my expectations after this May 6th fight of Inoue versus Nery. Inoue will be fighting Murodjon Akhmadaliev on September. Akhmadaliev from Uzbekistan. Okay, Murodjon Akhmadaliev. He got a very good win last December by a knockout. Okay, Murodjon Akhmadaliev, congratulations to that Uzbekistan fighter. And if that happens, if the Australian sponsor and promoter would be able to promote and convince the Japanese boxing community to invite Naoya Inoue to fight in Australia, that would be a nice one too. But I won't be surprised if the fight will still happen in Japan, in Tokyo Dome, in a baseball stadium. I would say in Japan is much better fight comparing to Australia, especially when it comes to judging. So yeah, what else? On next month, March 30, there will be a big fight, of course, Team 2 versus Kit Thurman. That will be a catch weight of 156 pounds. Okay, above super welterweight. So it's already a middleweight already, because middleweight is from 155 to 160. All right, so it's already on that weight limit. And I read a lot of articles saying that the winner of that fight, Team 2 versus Kit Thurman, will be fighting Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford already has been already started training already for that bout. Hopefully, that will be a good one for Terence Crawford. If he wants to stay as a pound for pound king, he needs to be active. He should be active, not inactive. Because Naoya Inoue, as also the pound for pound champion, pound for pound king, will not be waiting and waiting for Terence Crawford to whoever or which of them to be called as the number one pound for pound. Alright? Crawford or Inoue, which is active. And what else? On May 11, of course, the fight of Lomachenko versus Kambosos in Australia. And on May 18, the fight of Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk, okay, for the heavyweight undisputed title in Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Okay, and on June 1, the fight for the light heavyweight undisputed title between two Russians, between two pound for pound champions, between two undefeated, Dmitry Bivol versus Artur Beterbiev. Alright, and that will be the best fight for the next following months. Alright, what else? I think that should be it. And for all the fighters, they should be maintaining their wellness, their fitness, and their health. they should avoid eating or ballooning. Even though they still have long time for the next fight, they should avoid of ballooning their weight. They should control their weight. Okay, as a fighter, as a boxer, they have to maintain their weight even if their next fight is 4 months, 3 months, they have to maintain their food intake. Weight is very important. Cutting weight is very important in martial arts, in combat sports. That is very, very important. So for all the fighters and boxers, you have to maintain your fitness, your health, your wellness, especially your weight. Weight divisions or weight classes are established for a reason. That is very, very important. That's why there's a weight classes. 105 pounds, which is straw weight, okay, or minimum weight, or mini flyweight. Then 108 pounds, which is light flyweight. Then 112 pounds, which is flyweight. 115 pounds, which is super flyweight or junior bantamweight. Then 118 pounds, bantamweight. 122 pounds, super bantamweight or junior featherweight. Then 126 pounds, which is featherweight. 130 pounds, super featherweight. 135 pounds, lightweight. 140 pounds, super lightweight or junior welterweight. 147 pounds, welterweight. 154 pounds, super welterweight or junior middleweight. Then 160 pounds, middleweight. Then 168 pounds, super middleweight. Then 175 pounds, light heavyweight. And then 200 pounds, which is cruiserweight. And then 200 plus pounds, let's say 201, 202, 203, 220, 230, heavyweight division. So for all the fighters, boxers, they have to maintain their weight. Meaning they have to be disciplined. They should be disciplined enough to maintain their weight, whichever weight division or weight class they belong. The weight or cutting weight is the most important or the most struggle for all the fighters, boxers. So not just keep on eating and eating and eating and drinking, partying. No, if you are a professional fighter, prize fighter, you are being paid by the sponsors, by the promoters, especially the sponsors, to perform on the stage for the people to be entertained. That's the reason, that's the essence of fighting, the essence of prize fighting, to entertain. Fighters, boxers are just similar to singers and dancers. The difference is combat, via martial arts, by inflicting pain to your opponent. While singers and dancers just sing and dance without inflicting pain, without inflicting damage to your opponent. Boxers or other forms of martial arts like taekwondo, karate do, judo, wrestling, aikido, pencaksilat, soul fighting, or even the eskrima, kali arnis, right? Of course, the UFC, those are included already in the MMA. They are also entertainers, but via inflicting pain, inflicting damage to your opponent. But you are also entertaining the people who watch the fight on live inside the arena or via pay-per-view. So I am hoping that the fighters, for example, Devin Haney, that is being already scheduled to fight against Ryan Garcia, will perform much more entertaining. Though he is not obliged, of course, he has his right to hit and not to get hit. Meaning that's a boring style. We cannot do about it. That's his style. All he has to do is to win, to gain points, to earn points, and to win the fight and earn money. That's it. But if the fighter keep on doing like hit and not get hit defensively all the round 1 to round 12 and all your fights, you will be remembered as one of the boring boxer of all time. So if you want people who are buying your tickets, because the sponsors, those money from the sponsors, from the promoters, are also money coming from the people, the hard-earned money, from the people who buy pay-per-view, from the people who buy tickets inside the ring, inside the arena, or inside the stadium. That's why one good example is Canelo Alvarez. The reason of Saul Canelo Alvarez left, part ways with PBC, Premier Boxing Champions banner or umbrella of Al Haymon, is money. Money. Nothing else. That's main. They are called prize fighter. They are there to perform because of money. That's why it's called prize fighter. Okay? Uh, they have to fight for the prize, which is money. Now, when Canelo Alvarez ask, or let's say demand to Al Haymon o PBC for a guaranteed purse, example only, $50 million guaranteed purse for, let's say, Jermall Charlo, the 1 minute elder brother of Jermel Charlo. And Al Haymon o PBC would reply, sure, I will be giving you $50 million guaranteed purse. But there's a big but. The caveat, okay, the catch. You should be fighting David Benavides this coming September. So, if you are Canelo Alvarez, you will be thinking twice, thrice, four times, 5 times. Because if Canelo is going to accept that offer, let's say, example only, $50 million. But I heard $35 million to fight Jermall Charlo. But the catch, he needs to fight, or he must fight David Benavides in contract. Okay, on September against David Benavides. And Canelo Alvarez was, for him, I would say, he was threatened for that. And maybe, just maybe, his ego, his pride was telling him, heck no, I can earn $50 million, or I can earn $35 million, or I can earn, let's say, $20 million, not fighting Jermall Charlo and also David Benavides. I will fight Berlanga or Jaime Munguia, for example, $25 million for a less risk. That's why in boxing or in any form of martial arts, in combat sports, there is a word that says, quote unquote, high reward, less risk. Okay? Less risk, high reward. For Saul Canelo Alvarez status, okay? For his status right now as the cash cow in boxing, okay? As the face of boxing when it comes to money. He is the highest paid boxer, okay? Or fighter, active, okay? Active boxer, active fighter right now, Canelo. So I would say he used his ego, his pride, and said, I will just accept the fight. We will just part ways. I will go with Matchroom Boxing of Eddie Hearns, affiliated with the Zone network, earning $25 million with a less risk opponent like Berlanga or Jaime Munguia. Comparing to the guaranteed purse of $35 million or $50 million guaranteed purse offered by Al Haymon o PBC, Premier Boxing Champions. But the caveat, again, as I've said earlier, the catch is, in the contract, he needs to fight David Benavides on September this year, of which Canelo Alvarez, he declined. Okay, he declined. With that being said, I would say that The same with the previous boxing stars. Canelo Alvarez ducked, okay? Ducked or refused to fight David Benavides, his number one mandatory, okay? For 2 years already. David Benavides, a two-time WBC super middleweight champion, earned his spot. Okay, David Benavides, the monster from Mexico, the Mexican monster, had earned his spot as the number one mandatory at 168 pounds. He has been a two-time WBC 168 pounds for 2 years already. Okay, 2 years. And he is already the interim WBC super middleweight champion, aside from being a two-time WBC super middleweight champion. But be that as it may, Canelo Alvarez already part ways amicably with PBC, and now he will be soon announcing his opponent, and I won't be surprised if he would announce his May 4th fight against Berlanga of Puerto Rico. Or I won't be surprised also if he would announce his opponent this coming May 4th is Jaime Munguia of Mexico. Okay? Those are big fights as well, but not so big comparing to David Benavides. Okay? For all those, comparing Jaime Munguia and Berlanga, I would say Canelo versus Munguia would sell more comparing to Canelo versus Berlanga. Okay? But the Canelo versus Benavides, that would be much more bigger. If I remember it correctly, there was already same same status or same weight, the event. I would say when Muhammad Ali retire or out from the view when he declined to get drafted in the United States Army, Joe Frazier was the one as the face of boxing and also the champion, the lineal heavyweight champion. And then there's the upcoming fighter on the name of George Foreman. Okay, George Foreman. So it's like David Benavides now was the George Foreman back then. You know what I mean? So let's say Canelo Alvarez back then was let's say Muhammad Ali or the Joe Frazier back then. And then the George Foreman back then is now the David Benavides, who is the very strong, very popular as well, very charismatic, with a good pay-per-view numbers, with a good followers, and wanted to fight the number one, the champ, I mean. So, I wish they will be fighting, if not this year, hopefully 2 years from now, or maybe next year. But Canelo already signed his 2-fight contract, okay? By the way, Canelo Alvarez signed a 2-fight contract with Matchroom Boxing of Eddie Hearns, affiliated with the Zone network. So, hopefully it will produce big fights. Okay, those 2 fights. Be it Berlanga on May 4th or Jaime Munguia and the September. Both are Mexican dates. The Cinco de Mayo weekend and of course the Mexican Independence Day on September. I think that should be it. No questions. Good morning. Good morning, BM. Sir BM, good morning. Kamusta? Kamusta na ka diha? Amping sa kanunay. Amping sa kanunay. What else? Wala nang tanong. Walang tanong. Dapat may nagtanong eh. Magtanong basta boxing. Okay. What's the next schedule? So, no more schedule. So, this coming weekend, okay, Wala isa pa yan. Sir BM, Sir Batang Mindanao, wala isa pa yan. Amping sa kanunay. Okay, ingat palagi. And yeah, I wish also the Filipino fighters like Jerwin Ancahas. Oh yeah, I read the latest article from Kinito Hinson, Joaquin, one of the great boxing writer from the Philippines, Kinito Hinson. Okay, dated 27th of February. So, sa Pilipino, nabasa ko yung bagong sulat ni Kinito Hinson, no, sa Philippine Boxing, na si Jerwin Ancahas overweight talaga. Overweight even before the weigh-in. Kinonfirma din yan ng kanyang trainer na si Joven Jimenez. So, bago pa lang yung weigh-in, let's say, isang araw bago pa ang timbangan, overweight na talaga si Jerwin Ancahas. Yan, binalita yan ni Kinito Hinson, one of the greatest Filipino boxing writer or boxing historian sa Pilipinas, Kinito Hinson. Mababasa nyo yan sa philboxing.com, sa Pinoy Greats. Okay, or Pinoy Greats. Pinalitan na yung Pakland eh. So, yeah. At sabi ni Jerwin Ancahas, kapag walang laro, walang fights, nagbabalon siya, meaning bumibigat siya hanggang 150 pounds, 150 pounds. So, doon pa lang, sa edad niyang yan, na grabe pala, no? Sa lumalaki yung timbang niya kapag walang laban. So, that's why earlier I've said about weight cutting. In all martial artists, in all combat sports, kahit nga sa akin, sa Eskrima Kali Arnis, or Taekwondo, or naglalaro kami ng Taekwondo, or sa soul fighting, or sa Pencak Silat, sa martial arts ko, sa Arnis, meron din kaming timbang hour before the fight. So, we have to maintain our weight limit. Ibig sabihin, kapag walang laban, i-maintain mo yung timbang, wag kang magpataba ba? Hindi ka do not overweight even you are waiting for your next fight. Pagdating kay Jerwin Ancahas, sinabi naman niya sa interview kay Kinito Hinson na umaabot siya ng 150 pounds. 150 pounds. So, ganun kabigat ang inilaki niya. Kaya, ayun, nahirapan siya. Lalo na yung timbang na yan. Dito tayo mag-focus sa timbang. Inamin din yan, kinonfirma ng kanyang trainer na si Joven Jimenez. Hirap sila sa timbang. Kaya, yun naging resulta. Yun naman talaga karamihan. Kahit na hindi Filipino fighters. Example, Adrian Broner. Okay? Talented, ha? Adrian Broner is one of the Black American or African American talented, skilled boxer. Pero when it comes to weight cutting, weight discipline, wala. Adrian Broner is failing. Bagsak yan. Next, Juan Guzman. Talented. Para din yang si ang hindi ko magkamali, yung kanyang moniker is Little Tyson. Para din yan si Floyd Mayweather Jr. Philly shell defense, shoulder roll. Wala ding disiplina sa timbang yan. He don't know how to be disciplined when it comes to weight cutting, weight limit. Juan Guzman. If I'm not mistaken, he was from Dominican Republic. He is a Hispanic, pero itim siya. He is black, but he is a Hispanic. Who else? Brandon Rios. Yan, one of the undisciplined. Walang disiplina yan, Brandon Rios. When it comes to weight cutting or weight limit. Brandon Rios. Sino pa? Marami pang hindi nakakaano ng timbang. Si, Jose Luis Castillo. Yung mga laban niya against Diego Corrales and the previous fights. Most of the time, if not many times, overweight yan. Si Jose Luis Castillo. So, ayan. Marami. There's a lot of boxers, fighters that not able to make the weight limit because of undiscipline. Yung kanilang food intake, pagkain nila sobra-sobra, lalo na pag walang laban, tumataba, bumibigat sila ng husto. Walang pagtingin sa kanilang timbang. Isang lang masasabi dyan, kulang ba sa disiplina? Sa pagkain, kulang ang disiplina. So, konting disiplina lang. Alright? That's all for now. And I hope to see you again. Thank you for watching. Maraming salamat. And be safe as always. Stay healthy. And be blessed. Alright? Army strong. Ho!